welcome. My name is Trish. I'm doing a true crime reading today on a young man that worked for ChatGPT or OpenAI, I believe it's called. He was either a developer or working there somehow. Quite a gifted young man. So I believe he had his 26th birthday. 26, I believe he was. Now, I've only just looked into this case. I watched a video last night, which was his mother interviewing with Tucker Carlson. It's a very interesting interview. He was very gifted. Now, he also felt he was a whistleblower. So he's a whistleblower that's come out with receipts. He has facts and documents and believes that there is copyright issues or that they're giving false information with this AI ChatGPT, OpenAI. I'm not sure which one it is or if that's both the same thing, but he's not confident in the product or what's going on there behind the scenes. So he expressed himself about that. He had interviews lined up and he then was found unalived. Now, he had been on a holiday. He had all these interviews lined up for it. He was excited. He had some new plans in the work for creating something for humanity. So he had quite good humanitarian intentions or a new project that he was excited about working on. So quite strange situation. Also, it was like the night he came back from a holiday. So he it ruled a suicide. That's why it's strange. The passing was ruled a suicide, and no matter what the mother does they've hired investigators, they've hired another autopsy. Now, the strange thing about this case is that it was November last year, November 2024. She still has the apartment the same, waiting on another investigation of his apartment. So still paying rent on the apartment, waiting for another investigation, but they've just ruled it as a suicide and they're not doing anything further with it. It's a strange one, this one. And I'm really surprised that this case is not more mainstream. It's been covered over or swept under the rug. It's like, yeah, I'm just surprised it's not one of the big ones. I'm surprised that more people don't know about this case. I only just came across it. I read in my comments last week, somebody asked me to read on it, and I screenshot it on my phone just so I would remember who to read on. Knew nothing about this case at all, and just watched this hour. It could have been an hour or a bit more documentary last night with the mother. So I have a bit of information. I have a bit of facts. I'm very intrigued and interested to know what the cards are going to say about this case. But yeah, it's an interesting case, this one. Now, the thing that I find interesting on a personal note is that the passing was the 22nd of November. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Idaho 4 is the 22nd of November. Their passing as well, a few years prior, and the house that they lived in was 1122. So I've been getting this really strong urge to read on the Idaho 4 again. So looking into the Idaho 4. Now, last week, my reading for true crime, and I'm behind. I'm a week behind because I done 6 readings last week and got 1 loaded. So I do have a lot of videos going up this week that were recorded last week. Today is the 20th of January, and that I'm recording this. So I will slip it into this week as well. But I find it interesting because I started to read on the Idaho 4 last week and I had an interruption. I had a young man energy came into the reading. I felt young, but young male energy, it said that on the cards, came in. Now, I thought it might have been Sebastian Rogers, and it very well could have been, but I'm wondering now if it was this young man coming in. I don't know, but it's just, I find it strange that it was in my comments last week as well on a video asking me to read on that, and then I started feeling the urge to read Idaho 4, same date of death, and then I have that reading interrupted by another spirit coming through with energy. Now, the thing is, I didn't have visuals then. I'm very honest with you when I'm reading, whether I've got feelings, whether it's hearing, I'm hearing them, or whether I have visuals and I can see them. Usually when they're coming in from the other side, I have a pretty good visual of the people. I can see who they're coming through with, sometimes what they're wearing. I can see what their mannerisms are, what they're doing. I didn't have the visuals on this last week, so for whatever reason that was, I had feeling and I had sound, like audio coming in. So I couldn't tell you if it was Sebastian Rogers, because I would see, I know what Sebastian Rogers looks like. I'd know straight away if it was him, but I did feel young male energy. I said in the reading, I don't know if this is a new one that I'm going to be working on or if this is Sebastian Rogers. But anyway, I will have to look back on that reading to see what comes up and see if there's any correlations to the reading that we get today. So let's get into the reading. Let's have a look at the energy around this person. I'm going to put his name up on the screen because I don't want to butcher his name out of respect to him or his family. So I'm going to put his name up here now so you can see who I'm talking about. And let's tap in and have a look. Let's just let the cards speak. It's my first tap into this person. And let's just see what the cards have to say. Okay, first card on the table is drugs, alcohol, and blood, or blood, sorry. Now, I must say, a graphic nature of this case, that there was blood all over the apartment, which is quite strange for something that was ruled a suicide. So maybe that's what they're highlighting here. Now, there could have been drugs or alcohol. I don't feel that. I feel like we're drawing the attention now back in because I'm very, very drawn over here. I'm drawn to the red. So I feel like what they're wanting me to let you know that in that interview, the mother said that it was strange that there was blood all over the apartment, which is quite unusual for something that's been ruled self-harm. Now here we've got covered over or tampering. I'm wondering why this case isn't more widely known. Like, I mean, I've only just come across it. It hasn't been on my FYP. So I'm just, it's quite strange. So maybe it has been covered over. There has been a lot going on in the world. So maybe that's kind of covered things over a little bit here. Maybe they're trying to cover up for something here. Maybe it's related to him taking a risk as a whistleblower. So a lot of people left the company that he worked for, OpenAI. A lot of people were leaving, but they weren't coming out as whistleblowers on the company where this young man did. So that was a risk that he took. We've got the Fool in the upright position indicating there was a risk taken here around him. So this is the risk we're talking about, and cover up involved with this situation. So around the risk that he was taken, now covering his tracks or a complete cover up to cover up him coming out and letting people know. Now, person of interest, I just want to let you know that a lot of I don't know the person. I haven't looked into the person at all and how they're connected, but the name Sam Altman appears on a lot of the videos, and people calling for an investigation of this person. So here it's saying a person of interest. So now, down below the cover up here as well, by the way, I'm just got to let you know, and here it has got tied or restrained. Okay, this is indicating to me that I'm reading the correct person. The energy of these cards do relate to this case because the mother believes there could have been torture involved here with this situation. She don't believe he died straight away. She believes there could be torture involved here. So this is just relating back now to what I viewed last night with the mother's interview with Tucker Carlson, and these cards laying out indicating that they are lining up with what she said. So we are looking into this person. So let's just move through. I'm just going to straight up ask, was this self-harm as it has been ruled? Okay, I'm also going to read this with my predictive deck as well, just to see what it says. Now it's saying evidence or statement, so there's probably evidence. Now the question I asked was his self-harm. The cards are showing no self-harm cards. There's nowhere here that it says self-harm, especially when I go through this pile and show you what's in this pile. Saying he could not see clearly. Now he did have a trauma injury on his head, so that would be why he's not seeing clearly, but it did say in here it's saying the person is known to me, so that is indicating someone else involved, someone else there. Now this is the end of the situation, the World card at the end of the situation, so it's saying person of interest again. So that doesn't indicate to me a self-harming. If I was reading any case and I'd see person of interest, shows that someone's a person of interest in this case. So in here, tied or restrained, coming out for the second time. You don't tie and restrain yourself. Now, I don't believe he was found restrained or tied, but the mother believes he may have been tortured. So she don't believe that the gunshot took him out. Now this, you see the thing wrapped right around the head, so around the head. So there was impact wounds, like a gunshot wound from a downward angle, and then there was also a trauma to the head. So I find this one interesting that it's wrapped around, but also I think it was said in the interview that he was at a basin or in the bathroom, and it was probably somebody came up behind him and did that. So this is where I'm seeing this one here not seen, but then we're seeing somebody being bound or restrained. So maybe they were trying to get the information. So like what I'm kind of getting out of this is, if somebody came up from behind, done the head injury, then he was bound and restrained, whether that knocked him out, and then he woke up bound and restrained because they were looking for certain documents or information. So here we're seeing him being restrained in order for him to answer questions, where is this, what have you got, where have you hidden it, that kind of stuff, while they retrieve documents and information, evidence. The evidence, there it is, there's the card on the table. So while they receive the evidence, now I'm not pulling in any words here either, I just let you know. I will try and tap in and see if I can get a connection with anybody, but at the moment I don't have a connection. It's just card reading here at the moment. So there is a person of interest around the end of the situation, which is the passing here. And let me just show you what these ones here, being stalked or being watched. So maybe his activity since he left the company and started whistleblowing, maybe he was being stalked and watched. So that would indicate there would be kind of maybe footage or something. Maybe he felt he was being stalked or watched. This is tied, but it's the hangman. So indicates something that happens over a long period of time, or maybe it was a delayed passing. So delayed passing is what I'm feeling is the answer to that one there. Marks left behind. So marks left behind on his body, marks left behind in the room. Now that's so frustrating because there's evidence of this, but it's just been ruled self-harm, and that's it, and nobody is going back on it. The family are fighting so hard here to try and get justice or try and get a better ruling or more information here, because they don't believe that the evidence matches and neither does the professionals that they've paid for or brought in to assess, don't believe that the evidence matches the ruling on what has been ruled as here. Please find me, I believe, is just finding the answers. Person is known, person of authority, and kept in the dark. So I'm going to read from the other card and other deck and just ask the same question here. Cards are indicating that he was compromised, or his information that he had was harmful to the company. So, and he was compromised. So his secrecy, I guess, or his having that information is a compromising situation for the company. So whatever information that was, maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know what he has. Maybe it never came out. Maybe it was retrieved from the crime scene. So here it's saying, though, the information that he had was compromising to the company. So therefore it became an explosive situation. This can also talk about weaponry or explosive weapons being the way this victim was taken out was an explosive weapon. this card does indicate it without me actually saying what it is, or without it being written on the card. Here it was a consequence for the damage done, and that would be the whistleblowing. So these cards are definitely on it. They're definitely talking about the case. So let's see if they'll tell us something we don't know. Tell us something about this case that we do not know. Expose your situation again. Okay, it was to keep him quiet. They were trying to keep him quiet. No, moon card. Moon card is unclear. Also distraction. So distraction, illusion. These cards are quite similar here. Let me just try and tap in and see what these cards mean. We're talking about distraction or illusion. So I feel this case could be. It hasn't been as widely known because there was like the Luigi Mangione case where the CEO was taken out. That probably overshadowed this case, and I feel this case should be so much bigger than what it is. But there seems to be, we've been distracted by other things going on that we just really haven't noticed it. Saying no, unclear around this, something we don't know. The situation's unclear. What we don't know. What is unclear? Explosive situation. No to that is what he's saying. Okay, that's the answer. No, he did not do that. The gun. We're talking about the gun. No, did not do the gun. He was being kept quiet. But there has been a distraction. And distraction speaks of higher up. It speaks of maybe this one's gone a little bit further up the influential ladder. Maybe there's connections there, and that's why it's been able to be hidden, I guess. Hidden. Moon can also mean hidden as well. Okay, let's take a look at, because it said, okay, person known to me, person of interest. Now, the name that I mentioned, and it's not anybody I know who this person is. I don't know nothing about them. I'm just wondering why their name keeps coming up in all of the YouTube videos that I've seen. So this person's name was Sam Altman. I'm not saying this person did it, knows anything about it. I don't know nothing about this person. I'm just curious as to why his name keeps coming up on all of the YouTube videos about it, calling for an investigation. Okay, distraction once again. We are being distracted. We are being shown one way when it's another way. That's what that card means. Somebody keeping information hidden. So wanting to keep the information that he had, that he was about to whistleblow with, keep that information hidden. So I do think it's something we don't know about. Getting him out of the picture. Group involvement. This is the temperance card, which is balancing, can also indicate consumption, water, accomplice or had help, lines up with the group activity. But it didn't go to plan. The situation didn't go to plan. Maybe they didn't retrieve all of the information that they were trying to retrieve. Maybe they had to go to somebody else for help. It says help, had help. So, and what I mean by that is the cover-up part of it, the distraction part of it, to get it ruled as a self-harm. Maybe they had to go up the ladder to get help here. That's why we've got this group involved in it, where they've had to go and get some kind of help. Maybe it wasn't on-site help. Maybe it was had to go up the ladder to get the help on the cover-up part of it, the distraction part of it. I'm getting something about pushing. Person of interest again, person of interest. An organised meeting in a person of interest in the room or the place. An organised meeting here. An organised meeting. Organised meet-up. Person of interest in the room, which was his apartment or in the place. Okay, let me just think about this question for a second. Is this connected to the well, I'm not going to ask if it's connected to the information that he was about to whistleblow, because I think every spread that's come out has indicated that it is. Will the family get justice? Will the family get justice? Slow process. I think they're going to be very resilient. They're going to have to be very resilient, because it's going to be a very slow process for them to even be seen, to them to get any justice at all. And here they're using media or social media, which is what they're doing. They're speaking with Tucker Carlson. They're doing interviews, and here's the justice card. So the justice may come in the form of getting social media behind them, getting the people behind them. So sometimes when the people or say, you know, this deserves justice, or he deserves justice, then people push for it. And that's where I was getting the pushing coming in here. So people pushing, the people power, social media, pushing for justice here, because that's how I feel the only way they're going to get any kind of help or justice with this case. So it feels like it's going to be a very slow process. They're going to rely heavily on having to do interviews on social media, meet with big people. It's the only way they're going to get any kind of justice here. And whether they actually get evidence, or whether that apartment, because it looks like a slow process. So are they going to be able to hang on to that apartment for enough time to be investigated again? Like, yeah, I don't know. It says what I mean. I'm not confident. That's what I'm saying. When I say I don't know, I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident in it being reheard, but I do feel confident in getting justice by getting the truth out with social media. That could be its own type of justice, getting the truth out about him, about his humanitarian aspect, you know, that just for people to get to know his situation. I feel that could be justice in itself. Real justice, I feel it could be a very slow process. So when things go slow process, you know, they may lose the apartment, and then the evidence is gone, it's not followed up on. There's a whole stream of issues I'm seeing around that route when it comes time to, we're talking about time here, as time goes on, and being a slow process, it makes it more difficult, more challenging the longer it takes. But I do feel justice will come in the form of social media and the truth coming out. So whether that's the truth about what he was about to whistleblow on, maybe somebody else will come forward, maybe some kind of information of his will be found that was not found in the apartment. I do feel some things were definitely found in the apartment, but I feel like there could be other things maybe hidden as well there that were not found. So maybe something could be released. Maybe just getting the truth about who he really is could be justice for the family in their own way. Okay, one more pull from this side. Again, the energy he feels different than when I was reading on Idaho 4 last week, and I had the young man come in. Feels different to this energy. Definitely different energy here. Now, for some reason, he's not presenting himself forward to me. For whatever reason, maybe he's healing, maybe he's going through some kind of trauma, maybe he doesn't deal with that as well as others do. I've known, like, some of them, you know, Sebastian Rogers is very good at it, coming through as in from the very beginning. Like some people when they pass over, they just they just know. I'm just jumping forward here. When they have a message, I feel it makes them stronger to come through, more willing to come through, more determined to come through. I feel this young man does have a reason to come through. I do feel he has something to say, but for some reason he's not coming through. Now maybe it's because of the trauma aspect of this, the torture or the trauma aspect of this is what I'm feeling. This is causing a possible delay in the ability to step forward. Maybe he's going through some kind of healing to deal with that before he actually steps forward to be able to speak to a medium. Maybe there's blockages there with his belief systems. I don't know. I don't think that necessarily affects the coming through. That's not what I'm getting, but all I'm saying is at the moment and I have a very good connection. The cards are definitely on it. The cards are all over this case. They're lining up with what the events, they're telling us more information. They're definitely on it, but my actual mediumship pulling him through, I don't have a visual of him at the moment. So I'm just trying to decipher why that is, but there could be any number of reasons. Sometimes when I just talk about them, it encourages them to step forward. What I'm getting here is mainstream news. Now, it wasn't mainstream news, not that I've seen. I haven't seen this as mainstream news. I'm quite surprised it's not more widely spread, this case, than it is. But maybe that's a planned outcome. Also, the tornadoes and winds. Now, did we have like Milton around at that time? Cyclone Milton, was that the main news at the time? And maybe that was part of the reason why his case wasn't on mainstream news, because it was all about the disasters there with Milton. I'm not 100% sure of the dates there around around Milton versus this case, but it's saying here something to do with the tornadoes being the main part of the mainstream news around the time of his passing. Okay, just pulling from my medium deck now to see if we can get in contact that way. Let me just bring these up so you can read them. Okay, so first of all, he's saying yes, he has a message. Yes, he does want to come through, he said, but it will take time. It's going to take a little bit of time to come through. This is very new for him. This is the answer to what I was asking, and that's what it is. Now, is there a message? I said, is there a message that you want to tell anyone, or is there something you want to say? And also I had the questions about why he's not coming through to me. It's saying, yes, he does have something he wants to say, but it's going to take time for him because this is new for him. This trauma, this experience for him feels very new. Now, he is saying here that I held on. He's saying I held on. Very, very sad. So he feels though he feels he's far apart. He feels his world's away. That's why there's difficulty in being able to come forward back into the land of the living, being able to come forward in to bring his answer through. I feel him there, but I don't see him like, how do I explain this? Like he's here, the cards are answering correctly. I feel he answers, but he's not showing his face to me. So maybe there's something around the way he looks at the moment, but he's not showing his face to me. That's what I'm finding a bit unusual for me personally. I don't often see that. So but he feels to be here, but he's not stepping forward. And I feel like he will in time. It's going to take a little bit of time. As he said, this is a new experience for him. He's dealing with something. He's also saying that I held on. It says I held on. Now, the biggest message and most beautiful message here is for Mum. It says, I love you and I need to tell you. So that is the message that, because I said, do you have a message for somebody? Is there something you want to say? And then I had the question around why he's not coming through visually to me, but he is coming through the cards. I feel his energy, but I don't see him clearly. Like I don't know what that is. So it is related to time. He's dealing with the passing, the trauma. I feel like as he kind of works through that will take some time. He will then start to come through. He feels quite distant. He's almost separating himself from the event. Okay, that's what the energy feels like. It's like he's not stepping forward because he doesn't want to come back into the energy of it. He's like stepped away, pulled away from the energy of it just so he can deal with it in his own way, heal from it, perhaps understand it, accept it really. It's like he's not accepting it, but he has stepped away. He's pulled his energy away from it. That's why I feel like he's not really coming forward, because he doesn't want to be in that energy. He doesn't want to be sitting in the energy right now at this time. He will. He's got something to say for sure, and it says yes, he does. He has a message for mum, but the rest of it, he is saying that he held on, but it's going to take him a little bit of time to actually come through here. On the bottom of the deck, I just want to show you, it says innocent. He's innocent. He's innocent. Because what they're accusing him of is something he didn't do. So yeah, that's interesting. But it says he's innocent. He's what he's saying. So thank you so much for joining me. That was my first tap in to that case. If I get any inkling or anything to step back in, I will. If I feel like his presence comes forward, I will definitely. I don't say no to spirit when they step forward, but at the moment I feel like he's just not stepping forward to me at the moment. But when he does, I will definitely, or I feel the urge to need to look at his case, I will. First tap in, very interesting case. I hope that it gets more recognition than it is getting, because I feel it's a very, very important case. So thank you so much for joining me.